Hello everyone. Seraph will be coming out tomorrow. Over the next few weeks, she'll definitely get a lot of balance changes. However, some of you will probably want to pick her up tomorrow. I thought of making this guide with the intention of helping out any beginners to the class picking it up faster, as well as just give an overview to anyone that's interested in the class. We are gonna go over skills, how they work, then I'm gonna talk about the PvP and PvE, and show you some combos that you can use on day 1. To notice, the live version of Seraph will be slightly different, but I spent the entire night yesterday translating Korean screenshots to compare to the current skills, so I am aware of what changed at the very least. So let's get started. I'll be going over the skills first. So Seraph is a Ascension class, but she doesn't have access to her awakening skills usually. She starts off on only main end, so with this tree, and then when you absorb rage, depending if you have learned the Sacramentum skill or the Purgatum skill, you will transform into one of these forms. The Sacramentum skill will make you an angel, the Purgatum skill will make you a Gunnar demon with, you know. Anyway, to transform into this form, you need to absorb rage or use your 100% or 200% ultimates. If you go on a horse or any rides, the form will be removed, by the way. It says down here. So, what's the difference between Sacramentum and Purgatum? Sacramentum basically just buffs your main end skills. They'll become faster, they'll have more AoE, and they'll have a bit more damage. Not too noticeable, but still noticeable because of the faster cast times. Purgatum, on the other hand, will make you very slow. A very slow, tanky, protected class. However, you have no access to any of your main end skills anymore. So your kit will be only these skills down here, which is these 9 skills, and then one single dash with a 1.5 seconds cooldown. So during Purgatum, you are very slow, you have no mobility, and you're just trying to hit hard. And using this this passive, that whenever you're casting a skill, you get 300 HP when you get it, kind of like a Mystic PA, but without the PA part. You try to just be tanky and not die. Right now, Purgatum is, quite frankly, very useless. It's worse in PvE than Sacramentum, and in PvP, it's so slow that people can just run away from you. So it doesn't really have that much use yet. So we'll have to see how PA balances this for now. So if you want to use this form, I'm gonna tell you, this is purely roleplay and jorking mode. Don't get it twisted, okay? Okay, so now I'm gonna analyze her kit and explain it to you. So we're gonna go over the combo mechanic first. You're probably gonna ask, what's the combo mechanic? So the combo mechanic involves these skills here, from flying kick all the way down to bone breaker. And what's gonna happen is that when you cast any of the skills up here, up to Twin Rising, so none of the flows. If you cast any skill up to Twin Rising, you'll notice you get a buff on your buff bar. So I do RMB, and you see a buff here called Unshakable Will, and then it says Chain 1. So what happens is that when you have a Unshakable Will buff, it means you can now progress into the Chain 2 part of the combo, which should be the Impaling Slash skill or the Shoulder Smite skill. This one you cast by pressing LMB, while this one you cast by pressing RMB. So let's say I cast one skill here, and now I hold LMB, and I go into the second one. And now I have a different buff. I have the Unshakable Will Chain 2 buff, which means that I can now go into the third part of the combo, which will be Crushing Descent. This one you can cast by either pressing LMB or RMB, while having that Chain 2 buff. And finally, after that, the last part of the combo would be Spacebar, which is Bone Breaker, that you can only cast after Crushing Descent. So let's say that I'm doing a PvE combo, which usually will start with this flying kick skill, the fling kick skill. So you do F, and then you just hold LMB with spacebar, and that there casts the full chain. And you can see I don't have the buff anymore on top. Another thing that this buff gives is that it stacks up an attack speed. So as I cast the first part, I get 10% attack speed, right? But if I cast the second part, oh, it's only on the third, sorry. So on the third part, there we go. On the third hit, on Crushing Descent, your attack speed gets improved to 15. These skills have no cooldown, by the way. Like, the flows have no cooldown. So this year, all of this got reduced to 8 seconds on the global lab. And you can pretty much just infinite rotate if you want, like this. That's first, and now, yeah, and now. I can do that as well, you see? And all I'm doing here is basically casting one of these initial skills and then going down the line by holding LMB into spacebar at the end. Now, another thing with the combo is that you'll notice it has a duration up here. It's 5 seconds. This is because you can do what's so-called pocketing of the combo. What that means is that if I cast the first skill of the chain, then I dash, I can go into the second one. Then if I dash again, I can still go into the third and then the fourth anyway, right? The fourth one, the spacebar, doesn't actually work properly after the dashes because you're gonna end up casting another skill first because it will take priority. But that's pretty much how the class works in terms of pocketing. So you can easily use this in combos. For example, I can pre-stack the first part of the combo, and then after I get a knockdown, I could go instantly into the third and the fourth chain, which are the ones that do like big damage in PvP, for example. So this is gonna get really useful as people come up with more combos, and as you get better with the class, you probably want to like just pre-buff, and when you go in, you would do then the second part only. The only big problem is that both of those hits down smash, so they can kind of cuck knockdowns. But that's pretty much it for the combo, and I think we can move on to another part of the class. I was going to go over the mobility now. So for the mobility, you have access to 3 skills. You have the dash, double LMB, which is a forward stiff, and WF, which is a knockback apparently now, after they changed it. And this year went from 6 seconds to 5, and WF went from 3 to 5. So WF was really strong right now on Global Labs. It's 3 seconds. You have it like all the time. It does decent damage. It was very good. As for the dash you can use it while on cooldown, but it costs more stamina. Yeah. So while on cooldown, you can still spam it, but it will drain your stamina faster. But the class has a lot of mobility. For example, double LMB is instacast after you do the dashes. So if you do something like this, you can move big distances in a matter of seconds, right? You won't have access to WF as often now, so you can't go as much as you do on Global Lab, but it's still very, very solid mobility for the class, and very low cooldown mobility. Okay, and finally, I'm just gonna go over the CCs and the debuffs and the pre-buffs. So, 1, you have AP pre-buff on your F skill, which is unprotected, and on your RMB skill, which you can go into a combo from there. I think this will probably be the best way to pre-buff before a fight. Just do that, and you'll get attack speed, you'll get AP, and you'll be, if you're in a good position, you'll be mostly protected. Only the RMB itself is unprotected. As for debuffs, you have minus DP debuff on Shift Q, which is a non-protected knockdown, but it's very slow. Don't recommend using that unless you're on a 1v1 or something like that. But you also have it on Armor Crush, which is a very fast skill. It flows a bit faster when you have like attack speed stacked, obviously. So if I have attack speed here, you'll see that it is like a bit faster. It's maybe like 0.3 seconds of protection with a minus DP buff, the debuff. As for evasion, we have a minus 12 on the second part of F, so that second hit will minus evade. And we apparently got on SRMB, which is an unprotected knockdown, we're gonna get a down attack plus 5% for 10 seconds, just to help out with combos. And I think that's pretty much it for any of for all the buffs and pre-buffs. As for CCs, for PvP we have double LMB, it's a stiff. We have Shift F, which is now 6 seconds out instead of 10, and it's a knockback, SA knockback. Very, very good skill. We have Shift LMB. That's a knockdown, protected knockdown. Very good, just like Grave Digging. We have Shift Q with a knockdown as well. We have SRMB with a knockdown as well. And then we have a knockback on WF in the live version for some reason. So the protected ones are this. It's double LMB, double F, Shift F, and Shift LMB. Those are the protected ones. And another thing, another really important one, the other two important ones you probably use are gonna be SRMB for a knockdown VCC, or then if you just stack up to the Chain Combo 2, if you hold RMB instead of holding LMB on the second part of the combo, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna cast the Shoulder Smite, which is a stiff into a knockdown. So let's say I CC this guy, right? Then I do this, and that's Shoulder Smite, and I get a knockdown there, as you can see. So Shoulder Smite is going to be very useful. It's unprotected, but it's pretty fast. RCC. I think that's going to be like one of the most useful RCCs we have. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, the class has a grab, and the grab is a float. So it's not super broken in terms of CC, but it has a very good hitbox, where if I grab it like this, I'll still grab the guy. It has a pretty good range, pretty good hitbox to the sides. It's not as outrageous, I think, as people are making it to be. I think the only way for it to look like that is if you maybe have an aim assist on, then maybe you can do it. Yeah, even then, it's not. You probably saw the Biceptimus click. It's not as outrageous as it actually looks, but it's still very forgiving grab, okay? So, for the Infinite PvE combo, this is considering the changes that we're gonna get to cooldowns and to damage on the live version already. So we were cooking this up yesterday, even though we don't have access to the version, and this should work really fine. It should be the most DPS you can get out on the PvE Infinite combo, with a couple repositioning skills in between. So whenever you cast WF here, you can do an iframe first to reposition behind the mobs. Otherwise you can just do it normally. Shift F will also reposition you because it lets you go through the mobs. So you need to also abuse that to get behind the mobs. So this is how the combo looks. You engage into a pack with WF and spacebar. Spacebar will get the debuff on them, and then F will get your AP buff. So hold F, now we hold RMB, spacebar, shift F, you do WF again. Now you just hold RMB. And you already came back around to the start of the combo. You can see it's pretty easy to do and learn after you get the hang of it. Not too many, not too many key presses to remember. Some part of the combo is just holding down the buttons. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Okay, as for add-ons for PvE, I'm currently running this, but I think with the changes, Armor Crush and Impelling Surge are going to become tier 2 add-ons. So you might be able to just actually run the cast speed and crit on Impelling Surge instead, which would make more sense. Right now you can't because you don't really want to run crit and attack speed on a tier 1 add-on, right? Oh wow. Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason. I'll try to post a screenshot of the PvE add-ons that I cook up later on the description. And as for the PvE Lightstone and crystals, it's pretty simple. Crystals, full AP, just like every other class, doesn't matter. You might want to run some BSR down here if you're on an AP cap spot. And as for sets, this is really important. You don't run VC Shadow on this class, 100% not. If you don't meet AP caps, you go for AP to meet AP caps. But if you pass AP caps, you always will go for Death Blow. This class has a lot of skills with under 20% crits that you use during your PvE combo, specifically the combo chain ones. So you definitely want to run Death Blow. You definitely want to run Reforge Stones, by the way, with crit as well. In both PvE and PvP, you want 3 crit rate Reforge Stones. These are mandatory, and BSR recovery as well. So do not skip those, okay? Okay, so let's yap about PvP now. So it's kind of hard to tell if the class is gonna be good or not, right? We need to try it more. We need to get experience with it. We need to get good at it to know that for sure. I think she's gonna be good at 1v1s and at a small scale, because her kit is basically just Awakening Warrior, but better, like more mobile. I don't know about more damage because we haven't really tested that, right? But definitely more mobile at the very least, and probably more protected as well. So what do you think the playstyle is gonna be? In large scale, you can't really play main ball because she only has one iframe, right? She only has that small iframe there. If you play main ball with her, unless you're like on a very tanky build, which will hurt your damage, you probably just gotta die standing like very often. So probably will have to stay in the sides, look for opportunities to just catch someone off guard when we go in, and try to assassinate the target, right? So more of a skirmish heavy class. Think of it like an Awakening Nova that will always just be lurking around trying to dive the backline targets, try to kill them fast and then get out again. That's pretty much what I expect her to do in large scale, and we're gonna go over some combos that I cooked with some friends while we were playing the class. We have 4 different combos. One of them is, 2 of them are for when you get a grab or a stiff catch with WLMB, and then the other 2 combos is just how to SA bomb in large scale. So fully protected, go in, rotate SA skills properly, and then get out when the target's about to get up, or when your good skills are on cooldown. For PvP add-ons, I'm currently running these add-ons. They are basically on the most important skills that you'll be catching people with and bombing people with. Can definitely do different add-ons if you're only focusing on large scale or only focusing on 1v1s or small scale. But I think this one should be a good starting point for people that want to try out the class. So as for crystals and lightstones for PvP, I would say for PvP you probably want to run something like this. You can obviously go for 1 or 2 and DRs if you swing that way, and you can also go for rooms. It kind of depends on how tanky you want to be, but overall I feel like the class is probably gonna play fine the more AP you have. So don't go for too many DR and DRs or anything of the sort, unless maybe like a 1v1. As for the Lightstone set, I would recommend either running Rigid Shield for the DR. So this one here, that's Rigid Shield. It just gives you DR. You can run Death Blow for PvP, but I don't think that's too good. That's probably just a PvE option instead. Or then you can run Blight set, which will just give you a tons of AP, right? But the most recommended set is probably just gonna be Rigid Shield with the DR artifacts. Okay, let's take a look at the grab combo. Okay, you can get pretty fancy with the grab combo. So what is gonna happen is that you're gonna get the float, and as the target gets up, we are gonna do Shift F and knock him back as he gets up from the floor. And then you're gonna follow it up with the Shift LMB KD. This will give you basically the Shift F for free in terms of DPS and damage, and will then cap out the target only after the knockdown, because Shift F is only a 0.7 value, right? You can see the inputs here of what we're gonna cast on the full combo. During Z buff, instead of the Shift RMB, you can do Shifty instead, because it will do more damage, and during Z buff it comes out instantly, so it's just better overall. This is how it looks. We go for the grab, WF for air attack, and then as it gets up, we get that Shift F knock back, we go for the full blast, and we run away. You can also, if you get the down smash, you can WF into the target instead of running, but it still works out, right? And yeah, in Z buff it's gonna look the same, but instead of Shift RMB, you would do Shifty, because it's just such a good skill right now. And that's pretty much it for the grab combo. I'm gonna show it again. Okay, and we get out. Now for the stiff catch combo, this here is one of our biggest potential in terms of damage. I think it's more potential than just getting a grab, but it's a bit harder to execute as well. So you're gonna get a catch with double LMB, and then we're gonna shift LMB instantly for the RCC. If you don't get the instant shift LMB with some attack speed, the target's actually gonna be able to cast a skill and get out of the stiff. So after that, you can go for a spacebar minus DP down, but that's unprotected. So this here will depend if you want to go unprotected or not. If you want to go unprotected, you can go for spacebar into 2 hits of F. If you don't want to go unprotected, I would recommend you just do a single double RMB forward. After that, you cancel with WF, you shift F through the enemy, you need to turn around, look at the target, and press RMB. That will cast Shoulder Smite, that you activated either from double RMB or the F skill, and that will KD the target. After that, you need to instantly let go of RMB to cast Shift RMB instead, otherwise you would go into the third chain combo, right? So yeah, after the KD from Shoulder Smite, you do Shift RMB, or then Shifty if you're on Z buff. I don't know if Shy buffs works, we haven't tested that because there's no Shies here. And after that, you would, only after the Shift RMB would you cast the continuation of the combo, just like we did on the grab combo earlier. So yeah, this is what it's gonna look like. We get the pre-buff here going. Now we do shift, spacebar, turn around, and there you see that I held RMB for too long and I instantly cast the down smash skill. It's probably the most conflicting input right now. I don't know if they're gonna do anything about it, but it makes it really tight with the creep presses to fuck up that combo. So let's pre-buff. Gonna try to get the combo properly this time. There we go. Then if you get down smash, you do WF. If you don't get down smash, you just get out. And just like the grab combo, if you're on Z buff, instead of Shift RMB, you can do Shift E instead. And then go into the LMB spacebar WF part of the combo. And I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna start with the SA large scale bomb combo. To this one, you're gonna pre-buff to the second stage of the combo first, and it's not linear at all. You need to instantly engage after that, because you want to be able to cast the third and the fourth part of the combo after the Shift LMB, and it's very tight because it's only 5 seconds, right? As you can see the inputs here, you're gonna engage with double LMB, and then you're going instantly into Shift F, which will knock them back, and then Shift LMB, which will knock them down. After that, you instantly press LMB into spacebar. This here should cast the third skill of the combo chain if you still have the buff up. That's why it's very tight, right? So after that, you just do Shift RMB and then WF to dash away, or maybe to finish off the target. Depends how low the target will be, right? So that's one of the ways to do this combo. So I'm gonna show you in practice. We pre-buff, we go in, LMB, spacebar, Shift RMB, and now we dash away. Okay, so another way of doing the combo is without pre-buffing. So what or then you pre-buff all the way to the end of the chain, right? So you do this just to get the AP buff, and then when you go in, mid of the combo, is instead of after the shift LMB, instead of casting the LMB spacebar part, which would go into chain 3, you would cast shift RMB instantly, and then go into a double RMB like this, a chain combo with double RMB, like full 4 skills instead of only skill 3 and skill 4. So let's pre-buff all the way to the top. Now I go in, double RMB, shift F, shift RMB, here, and then you would do that, and you got out here. So that one there doesn't require you to pre-buff, but you do have a frontal guard during the combo, which frontal guard sometimes is fake, right? It also lasts a bit longer in terms of duration of how much time you're staying in, but it should still be pretty solid for large scale. Now, bombing with Z-buff is a bit different. This is because shift RMB, instead of being this skill, will become a skill that will give you wings and basically fly you towards the target. The older you long shift RMB, the further you go. That skill doesn't work like very well when going from below, like lower ground to high ground. You can't really go up that well. But when going from high ground to low ground, you don't have falling animation. You can go like the max distance you can, basically. I'm gonna watch this clip here. You still take fall damage and die, but you get my point, right? So when going in with Z-buff, you're gonna most times want to engage with shift RMB, and then go for the full SA, kind of the full SA bomb that we were doing on pre-awakening. But instead of going for the LMB chain like this, because the target will already have been knocked down for a while, you'll get up during your chain if you start doing it like that. You probably instead want to go for the shoulder smite knockdown chain, which would look like this. And that's like the biggest difference. But shoulder smite is unprotected knockdown, so you need to be careful. If you don't think you can actually get it out, just go for the other one. Be safe, and just try to get out before the target gets up instead. So maybe skip WF and shift T and leave it for the end of the combo instead. It will depend a lot. We need to play around with it on large scale to see what the best order for the skills are. But the really important thing is that during Z-buff, your shift T comes out instantly after any skill. You don't have this slow startup animation. It comes out instantly. It's like a 0.3 second cast, and it does a lot of damage. So you want to definitely use shift T if possible, and if you're well positioned. So let's go into Z-buff and showcase the combo here. We pre-buff. We're gonna go in. There we go. And that's how it's gonna look. Now you can also, as I said, you can do the other version where the guy will get up though, so it's a bit more risky. I would probably just skip WF there and do something like this instead. Yeah, as you can see, he would be getting up if you didn't get out smash there, so it's way more risky. But that's pretty much how I think the combo is gonna work. The cooldown on these skills is very low. It's like 7 seconds on all of them, so you can just keep going, by the way. Like, you can just keep going until you are done here. And the skill should be up again, and you go again, right? You just keep going all the time. Right. So I think after you get used to the class, you'll be permanently engaged on fights if you want to. Like, after you get used to this class, especially during Z-buff, I think the class is gonna be very, very strong. Without Z-buff though, maybe not so much. It's gonna be strong, but not like completely broken or anything like that. Maybe it's if it lacks damage, not gonna even be that strong, right? But we'll have to see. Needs testing on live version, and I hope all of this information helped you out on your start on PvPing on this class. And yeah.